So that one was kind of hard. Trying to do magical things while recording, it wasn't easy. Because normally if you're doing magical things, you do it in stills. So it's animation. Autism and medical issues. Does autism make going and seeing the doctor a little bit harder? That's kind of what I want to look at today. Hey guys, welcome back to the show, welcome back to the diaries. So yes, autism and doctors. Next week's not going to be too easy for me. Next Monday is not going to be too easy for me. By all means, for those of you who know me, yes, next Monday is indeed my birthday. And I am booked into the Peninsula Building place for the whole, we need to check your height and weight before your operation, kind of stuff. So I'm just like, if there was one hospital thing I wouldn't necessarily mind doing on my birthday, it's the height and weight rubbish, because it takes 15 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes of my day, and it's like, in, out, done. The letter's like, oh, this can take up to 3 hours. Now, I know I'm small, but you're not going to take 3 hours to check that I'm 4'8". And you guys can't really see it, but I'm not pudgy in the big sense. I am probably slightly pudgy, but it's not going to take you 3 hours to check my weight. What are you doing with me that's going to take 3 hours? Is that 3 hours of waiting time? Ouch, if it was 3 hours of waiting time, why didn't you just tell me to come in 3 hours after on 11 o'clock? Thank heavens my sister is back. But yes, I'm booked in to see the doctor on my birthday. But it does mean a trip to the city, a trip to the nearby city. Woo, yay! So, I get to fully remember a day out in the aquarium for once in my lifetime. Yay! The aquarium. Tea. But as the question was, does autism make seeing the doctor harder? I say yes. The main problem that I personally have with seeing doctors and physios and everything else with medical problems is the whole explaining the problem. I've been given so many different knee exercises for my knees by physiotherapists, and they're great exercises. They really do actually work, and they're designed to strengthen the muscles around my legs. So basically, the thigh muscles I need to strengthen so that it keeps the knee in place. But the problem with that is my pain isn't muscle, it's bone. And they're giving me things like lunges, or, well, I say things like lunges, they're close to lunges. The exercises that I've had before, there's one that's close to lunges. It just puts so much pressure on my knee, and I can't do it. I just cannot do the exercises properly, because if I feel my knee's about to dislocate, or it feels so unstable that it could dislocate at any point, I'm not doing the exercise. I'm just not doing it. I ain't doing it. And I cannot say to them in a way that they'll understand that this hurts the knee. I cannot do it because it hurts the knee. And they're like, oh, we'll give you some other exercises that are a bit less strenuous on the knee. And it's like, okay, cool. And then they give me more that are just as strenuous, or if not more so, on my knee. And it's like, really? It's like going to the doctor and saying I need stronger pain relief for my really bad days when it's really cold. I've got the screws going, and I've got the bones going, and I've got my scars going. Sorry, my back's going now as well. It's like, talking about pain, my back goes. twins. Pain's everywhere. Every last little thing that could hurt does hurt. It's like, just stop for a whole day. Please. Just everything stop hurting. Just for a day. As I was saying before, my back so rudely interrupted me. I've got my scars going, I've got the screws going, I've got the bone going, all in pain. And the doctor gives me basically a really strong anti-inflammatory kind of pain relief, which worked for all of about a month. Anti-inflammatory? Seriously? I've told you that because I've told you that I have screws in my knees now, and I've told you that I need pain relief for my bad days. And I've told you it's the bone that hurts, and you're giving me anti-inflammatory. Granted, I think I did mention at the time that it felt like the muscles were just tightening around the kneecap, or the knee joint. And that's fine, it helps for that sort of thing, but that wasn't the pain that I was referring to in the sense of for my worst days. That's a discomfort pain. It doesn't put me out of action. What puts me out of action is when bits of the bone are slightly off from each other. So they're sitting on top of each other like that instead of straight like they're supposed to. And they're kind of grinding against each other. It's sort of what I mean when I say it needs to crack. If anyone knows me normally and I say my knee needs to crack and it won't, it's because there's a bone slightly out of place and I can feel it. I felt it today. I was just checking the side of my knee, and there's a lump on the other side, but there's a bit of a lump in where the bone is. Now, I don't know whether that's supposed to be there, but unlike it is on the left one currently, I'm actually massaging the bone, the lumps on both sides of the bones now. My right one is more tender than the left one is. So while they're both there, I kind of know they're sort of kind of supposed to be there because it's on both sides. But it's the fact that it's sore, it's tender, it's almost as if there's a bruise to the bone or there's a bruise on the skin that's just messing with everything. And normally when I get that sort of thing, I just stretch my knee or straighten my leg and then push my knee flat to the surface that it's sitting on, and a quick crack and it's done. It's like, ow, that really hurt. And then a few minutes later, when the pain from that subsided, it's like, my knee feels better now. But basically, the main problem that I have with going to the doctors is explaining it. Is explaining things. It's not just being believed, it's explaining it. So if I say, or if I try and explain that I might have a problem, or I might have, say I went to the doctor and I said that I possibly might have PTSD. The doctor will turn around and give me so many questions and I'll just be there like, or I give them such a strange answer or a strange response that the doctor will turn around and go, what? Because trying to explain it to my mum, it's awkward. Trying to explain it to other people, it's awkward. Because I'm trying to say that because of the autism, what's seen as a simple moment becomes way more traumatic as a child with autism than it could be. I will say could be, rather than is, could be more traumatic to that person than it is to someone else, or to someone that doesn't have autism, because of the way the brain works and the way the brain perceives things and the way things generally are. So me working out that I could have had PTSD possibly from a certain age is really hard to explain, because I'm trying to say, going from my memories, I was once this, and then suddenly after all this I'm different, I'm more angry, or that I'm snappy, or anything like that. And yes, a lot of that could be contributed to diet, the fact that I was picked on at school, everything else in between. But to me, it's not diet. Yes, being picked on in school was part of it, but it's not actually the thing. It's just that it didn't help the situation. It didn't help anything at all. So tell me down below if you have, obviously don't tell me if you have autism, but if you do have autism and you've had issues with seeing the doctor before, let me know down below. Or explaining something to the doctor, let me know down below. So it's the issue with stuff is that when it comes to mental health and autism, I'll say goes hand in hand. It's not that it goes hand in hand, it's just that science or tests and studies have sort of shown, don't want to say that every test in the world is actually true, because some aren't. Remember that test about the jabs giving autism? Yeah, that one was lies. That's lies, guys, lies. The jabs that you give your kids in school do not give autism. If they are not born with autism, they will not have autism in the rest of their life. So, yeah. If you haven't spotted any autistic signs, any signs of autism by the age of 2, your kid doesn't have autism. Trust me, they do not have it. Honest. But as I was saying, because of the autism and everything, we sort of get seen as making stuff up. And as I was saying with mental health, it's not that it really goes hand in hand, it's that studies have shown that some autistic people do have mental health problems, or that mental health problems and autism they're not linked, they're not the same thing or anything like that, but it's more common, I'll say, more common in autistic people than it is in non-autistic people. While I'm 50-50 on the agreement with that one, because like I said, anyone can get mental health problems, anyone can have a mental health issue, anyone can have any diagnosis of any kind of mental health problem. It's not just autistic people. However, because of the way the autistic brain works and the way the autistic brain is perceived and responds, it is, we'll say, more susceptible to developing a mental health issue, particularly depression, particularly paranoia. Paranoia and depression are the two that I'm naming right now, because, not just because I think I have those, but because those are what I've seen personally, not just through scientific studies, but I've seen personally in autistic people. Those are the most common mental health issues that a lot of autistic people have. And I put it down to depression, I put it down to being isolated, because if you're being picked on, or you're being shunned, or you're being pushed away, as shunned means, those of you who don't know what that means, pushed away from society and your friends, maybe not your friends, but people in school. Autistic kids, if you're at school and someone's trying to shove you out of their out of their circle, just stay away from their circle. You really don't need them as friends. If they're that shallow that they're pushing you away from their friendship circle, you really don't need them as friends. But don't let them provoke you into going into the anger side, because the anger side will start to mess with your head, and it can, I'll say can, not will, because it will mess with your head with the anger, but it won't for definite cause paranoia. It can cause paranoia though. So don't let them make you quick to anger. Don't let them make you get too angry too quickly. Try and see the reasonable side to it. Try and approach it with less aggression. Don't go punching people, because that's just bad. Never ever get into the habit of going to violence as a response of being angry. But no, that's it for me today, guys. The question today sort of is, have you had any horrible experiences with trying to explain problems to a doctor? Autistic or non-autistic? Just let me know. I want to know. How bad is your doctor, pretty much? So that's it for me today, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya! Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene.